So, one of my relationships that I cut off clean was a woman who said that men were a liability. I love the bear story. If you were in the forest, would you prefer the bear over the man? But you see, they forget to say that also women have lured women and children, coerced by other women and men in dark, nefarious deeds. If I were to choose a bear or a human being, I would choose a bear over any human being, regardless of gender. I've seen women do the most evil shit. So my beautiful son has lost two people that he knows, one from 6 degrees of separation and one a close friend he grew up with. They were both 16 when they met. This young man was raised in a very Christian household, Christ-like, and judgmental, apparently, to the point where their son left this country and moved to London. He had dabbled in illicit drugs, unfortunately, and they were visiting him. So between the pain that he was having physically, he was having some challenges, some physical pain. And unfortunately, because he was a strapping young lad of 24, the medical system didn't want to give him pain medications. And because his parents were visiting with probably their judgmental, and yes, I will say that, he decided to take something that he shouldn't have taken because he hadn't taken it for a long time. And I'm pretty sure he accidentally overdosed and died. And my son has been bereft for about 5 days. It's still continuing. Today he has a conversation with his very good athletic friend, a woman. You know, they're best friends. They're a woman. Yeah, a woman and a man having a wonderful brotherly, sisterly relationship. Yeah, let's talk about bears again for a minute. And this young man decided to take himself out, with a pistol. And because his mother was selling him, okay, so she could get her drugs. Don't tell me about bears and men. Tell me about bears and people. Tell me about how bears are safer than most human beings. Tell me about how mothers have done the most disgusting things to their children for money, for a boyfriend. How women have turned their backs on their own daughters when their daughters said that their boyfriend had done harmful things to them. Don't tell me about bears and men. Tell me about bears and sick people. Let's talk about bears and sick people. I'll choose a bear over any gender that is of the human race. Men are a liability. Women have done the most Study a harem for 2 hours. I challenge you, study a harem for 2 hours and see what women have done to women and babies. And then tell me again about the bear and the men. I am so sick of this divide and conquer agenda that many of you are falling for. I post them. I repost them to see what people are going to say. All we need is 1% of our population to be awake and the table fucking gets kicked over. The 1% won't own us anymore. But you guys want to talk about bears in the woods and the hating of men. Why don't you hate a-holes? Why don't you hate the fuckery that women also perpetuate on other women? Why don't you hate women who have actually led witch hunts against women? It were women that started the French Revolution. It was women that were knitting while the guillotine was slicing. Women. I'm so sick of this divide and conquer. It just, boy, they have been hammering at us and hammering at us and hammering at us. There are women who have fucked me over in offices, that have lied about things that I did not do, who have tried to set me up to get me fired. Women, men, and bears. How about that? Why don't we talk about that? Let's talk about that. So this young man decided that his life wasn't worthy because of his flashbacks, because his maniacal, crazy, drug-addicted mother thought it was better to sell him than herself on the streets. And it destroyed him. Mother. Mother is a word until there's action behind it. Mother is a word. It means nothing. Happy Mother's Day. Yeah, you fucking earned that title. You earn it. It's not your right to get a card. If your kids aren't talking to you, you better ask yourself how you fucked up. Be honest. Be honest. And own it and apologize and repair. There are mothers out there that have done more fuckery to their daughters than any man has ever done. See, women quite often put themselves in situations because of depression, because they've not been taught by their fathers and mothers how to protect themselves. I blame all genders, not just one. Have I been hunted down like a piece of meat by men at 8, at 14? Yes, I have. I sure in the fuck have. I sure in the fuck have. But then again, I knew of a woman who had been harmed by her own mother in the same way, if you get my drift. So, you would say to me, well, Tony, men are more likely. Yes, okay. So are women. I've seen some and I know you've driven, and you've seen groups of girls, mean girls. Remember the movie Mean Girls? There have been girls that have lured girls in woods and parks and annihilated them, taken their lives. Those were girls, teenage girls, under 20. Don't tell me about bears and genders. Tell me about bears and people. Stop playing under this fucking game that they're using to do this. Our men are losing their lives. You were a man. You've been a man many, 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 many times. And you were that silent man. You were the toxic patriarch. You've done massive shit as a warrior, as a soldier. You've done shit you shouldn't have done when you were a man. Own it. Our job as the divine feminine is to lead our men out of the dark force of their own self-loathing, so that they can have the strength to call out men who are toxic and refuse to see their nefarious desires, their lustful ways that are toxic as fuck. Yeah, it's our job. That's why we came in as women. If you're not up for the job, then play with your Barbies. But this is work for women. This is work for high priestesses, witches, and druidesses. And if you're not up for the work and you'd rather point your finger to men and bears, then you're not up for this. This is not for you. This is for the badass bitches out there that know who they are. They are amazing. They are goddesses. They know what to do. And they don't play under this divide and conquer bear dialogue that goes on, videos and videos and videos, while what's happening in Rafah is happening. And men, Palestinian men, have shown their courage and their goodness and their beauty. You are the soul of my soul. Have we forgotten so fast? Not every man is toxic. Not every woman has integrity and honor. Okay? Let's get it together. I want us to unite. I want us to call our men who we adore brothers and trust that they don't have some insidious desire for us. And if we feel that, then we need to cut it off so that we don't nurture that. And tell them, listen, I know you're into me sexually, so we're going to cut it off because you're not my brother. You're actually manipulating me under the guise of friendship to develop something else. That's not going to work. I'm cutting you off. That's good for you to do that. That's good. But there's some men who will be your brothers. Brother from another mother. And they will protect you. And they will honor you and love you. Like a sister. And if you feel anything off, then cut the fucking thing off. And that goes for men as well. There are women who will be like your sister, your best, but they really, believe me, I do readings, okay? I do readings all over the world. And I have women who are like, quote unquote, friends with benefits. Yeah, guys, don't fucking do that because it never works. Because the minute a woman's activated in the root chakra, she develops cuddling hormones and bonding hormones, and she'll fall in love with you whether or not she wants to or not, unless she's cold as ice. It never works. It's never really good in the end. Very rarely does it work. Very rarely. So, I mean, be honest. Well, what is how we're wired, how we are biologically, hormonally different for a reason. I mean, it's not like tap into your masculine. Go into hypnotherapy. Find out what kind of masculine incarnations you have, and you men out there, find out what you were as women. I know my son's done it. I know other people have done it that are men. They remember their past lives, traumatic past lives as women, where they were abused, where they were taken advantage of, where they were hunted down and accused of witchery. Okay, so it's it's like I don't understand why you guys, and many of you aren't falling under that, but many of you are. The bear and the man. It's always something. This is not a new dance. This is serious. So what would you call this? Social engineering of. It's becoming incredibly complex, the way the powers that be are using our dialogue of trying to heal each other as a people, and then they're using something to throw the monkey wrench in the middle. Now the new thing now, right? It went from the Me Too movement to Black Lives Matter to holy fuck. Now it's the bear and the man. It's like, I mean, I choose a bear over many human beings. Hands down. I choose a wolf over many human beings. I choose a wolf pack. That should tell you something, okay? Because they're out to hunt, okay? They're hungry. I would choose a wolf pack. I'd have a better chance over any human being. Don't think because it's a woman, she's your friend. I mean, you know that, right? It's like, do you have to watch Mean Girls again? Do you have to watch some of these? I mean, don't you get that? I mean, have you always never been fucked over by a woman? I know of women that will see a happily married couple and go after that husband like it's the last thing on earth. Just as a flex. I got him in my bed. I'm better than her. Come on, let's wake up. Let's wake up. I'd rather choose a bear in a cocktail party than a woman. How's that for an idea? Yeah. I'd rather walk in with my beautiful man at a cocktail party, a dinner party, a wedding party, and I'd face a bear over a chick in a cocktail dress, a little too drunk, a little too high, who's decided, but my man is hot and she's going to go after him. She's going to humiliate me and she's going to make sure that she gets the attention of my man. So that I can, what? So that I can have a fight with my man. Because he's not doing what I want him to do. Or literally take my man because he's drunk or whatever, because he's an idiot. I mean, all scenarios. I'm throwing all the scenarios you can think of. There are women that have done massively nasty things to their own children, to other people's children, to people. There are cruel, cruel women out there, evil women out there, who will link with a man to harm other women, to harm other children. So I think I'm just really asking you to think beyond what we're being manipulated to believe. Once again, divide and conquer, divide and conquer, divide and conquer, until we are like little toothpicks. We're no longer a tree of life. We've become toothpicks, scattered by the wind. That's what's scary. It's very interesting. Anyway, let me see if any of you, because I'd love your comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. No comments. Okay. No comments. No nothing. Okay, gotcha. Because see, I'm not against women, but I'm certainly not against men either. Okay? I'm against assholes. I'm definitely against assholes, but not men and women. I've met women that were, in fact, my Doc Holidays are women. Okay? My Doc Holiday crew. But I can tell you that my son is my Doc Holiday. And I use my son a lot because he's close to me, but I'm going to use other people. Some of his friends that are no longer here, who are 24 years old, just like his age, who are no longer here because women fail these young men. Because women are so trained at a young age to mistrust men by angry mothers who should have. shoulda, coulda, right? But did not. Angry, resentful, hating the father of their own daughter, right? And training their daughter and sons. Well, first they're training their sons to hate themselves because they are masculine, number one. Number two, they're training their daughters not to trust men, not to love men, not to, you know. And then you've got women who are independent, who are saying, you know, I'm 45 years old, I'm a millionaire, I've never had children, I'm happy as fuck, I do what I want, I take lovers, I travel, I'm rich. Yeah, well, wait till they're on their deathbed and there's no one to visit them. Because if you think that other women are going to just go out of their way to visit a woman, unless she's got at least one doc holiday, but she may survive her doc holiday. See, that's the thing. There's nothing more beautiful than having your family. There's nothing more beautiful than if you choose to raise children. Nothing more beautiful and holy and sacrosanct. There are women, beautiful souls who choose not to have kids, not because they're angry or hurt, but because they'd rather love children who need to be loved, adopt, foster. I know of one twin Ray, whose twin Ray has children from another woman. And she loves those children like they're her very own, that like they came from her womb. That's how magnificent she is. And that's how magnificent he is. That he's attracted his beloved to him. And that she sees his children as her own. But there are women out there who claim they're twin flames, who curse the woman who had those children, and who curse the children. That's not a twin flame, number one. And number two, she's crazy. She's evil. Because to curse a woman who had children with the man you love is blasphemous. It's evil. That's not twin flame energy. Twin flames always accept, always adore, always love, and reach within themselves. So the bear in the woods over any human being that is not good. And of course that's common sense. But I know that there are men out there that have saved women. They've saved dogs, women, children. There's men out there that have stopped fights. There are women out there that have caused deadly fights. And vice versa. We need to stop allowing ourselves to be manipulated through this agenda that the 1% have been using on us like an egregore energy for centuries, very successfully. Stop it. Stop it. If you want the new earth, stop it. If you want us to get it together in this planet into 5D, stop it. All we need is a small percent of us to be awakened, walking together, to tip the scales of this power. And the bear in the wood fucking videos are a waste of your time and breath. If it's a joke and it's funny and it entertains you, that's one thing. But please don't take that shit seriously. Don't take that, not at all. I saw a video of a woman, poor soul, in a neck cast, black and blue, accusing, again, the bear in the woods. That same photo could have been Mean Girls luring her into the woods. I saw that again and again. I don't know if you guys listen to the news on Google or whatever. Instagram will put that. Girls luring a girl. Girls luring a transgender young teenage girl, right? And beating until they are no longer unaliving them. Okay? Girls doing that to fucking another human being. So don't tell me about bears and men. Tell me about assholes. Human beings that are decrepit, disgusting, awful human beings. Young people that should know better than to lure anyone into a situation to unaliven them. Violently doing it. And feeling absolutely no remorse. Bragging about it, filming it, posting it. That's been done by girls and boys. You might say, well, there's a higher number. Is there? Really? Or are we just it's kind of like accusing a certain race of having a higher number of crime. Really? Is that true? Or is that propaganda? How much propaganda are we going to allow? How much propaganda are we going to allow to divide and conquer us? instead of seeing each other's humanity. There's something that really blew my mind. LA Times did an article in the 90s about these young kids coming out of East LA, Hispanic kids. And they had really a darkness in their eyes, meaning sadness, but hidden. The sadness that was hidden behind that veneer was anger, rage, tattoos, on the face. In those days, remember that was the 90s, not today. And they brought these kids to a group of Tibetan monks who did sand paintings, and all they did was chant in the country, in nature. And they spent a weekend with these monks. The after pictures were mind-blowing. It was like a storm had gone through the souls of these kids, and something had been cleared, and their eyes looked like the eyes of children again. Innocent, clear, clean. One fucking weekend out of the ghetto, out of death, out of violence, out of rage, out of despair, manipulation, subjugation, gangs, against gangs. One weekend with Tibetan monks, watching them do sand paintings and hearing them chant, the vibration of the chanting. And they were fucking brand new kids. Can you imagine? Environment has everything to do with how we feel about ourselves and how we move in society and how we see the universe. It's not us against the universe. It's us standing together, hands interlocked, with compassion for each other, with love for each other, and the universe supporting our journey out of this bullshit of divide and conquer. And that's what we need to get to. That's what we need to visualize, manifest, and accept. Somebody called me idealistic, and they didn't mean it in an insulting way. I corrected them saying, to say that somebody is an idealistic person is almost like a fucking insult. You realize that? She said, she laughed. She said, no, you know what I mean. I go, yeah, I know what you mean. But isn't that weird how they've taken that word, idealistic, like you're an idiot? And she went, yeah. I went, it's interesting. It isn't idealism. It's the reality we accept. Cynicism is an idea of seeing the world that you accept. So if you feel like the world is against you, and if you feel like the universe is out to fuck you, then you're cynical. If you're idealistic, it's not that you believe in things that aren't possible. It's that you believe that nothing is impossible, and that it's a matter of doing it as a group consciousness. So think about how you see the world. Think about how you feel the universe has your back. Does it have your back, or do you feel like you're being punished constantly? Do you feel victimized by the universe and other environments, or do you feel like the universe is here to teach you? And the new earth that we're looking at is so that kids don't ever have to grow up in ghettos with the eyes that I saw in those pictures before they ever connected with the Buddhist monk, those Tibetan monks. It's so that all kids can connect with nature. All kids can connect with horses, with goats, with chickens, with planting tomatoes, with eating tomatoes, letting the juice run down their faces, with, swimming in the rivers in the summer. All kids, all teenagers, all of our population should have those experiences and feel safe to do and have those experiences. It's a human right. And the polarities that we always talk about, even in the spiritual community, which is massively toxic, isn't something we need to accept. There's certain polarities we'll always have, but war and famine isn't one we need to accept. It's not a polarity. It's an imbalance of power. It's greed. It's run by 1%. And we need to get real. So when they keep throwing us a monkey wrench of the bear in the woods with a man, I can't wait till they come up with a new one. And a new one, and a new one. And as I've said to other men many, many times, my brothers, I've said, when you see a man act up with a woman in the wrong, call the fucking man out. It's your job. It's not my job as an older elder to call a man out, though I will. But it's your job as a man, as a young man, mid-aged man, older man. If you see a man treating a woman, a girl, a teenager, an older woman with disrespect, or sexualizing it, whatever, fucking call it out. Humiliate them. And that's basically, once we start doing that and protecting each other and honoring each other, we will train those who are rude, corrupt. That's, by the way, it goes men and women. If I see a woman who is doing inappropriate things, or not listening to her child, or not, I will call a woman out. I remember a very benign story, very, very benign. I saw a little toddler. I'm talking about fucking little, not even 2 feet high, walking, and I couldn't see the mother to save. I was like, where the fuck's the parent? And it was, she had walked so far ahead of her own child, because she was concerned with getting her Starbucks, you see, over the safety of her child. And I was looking for, so I held the kid's hand and I was looking for the parent. And there she was. Oh, thank you. And I went, thank you. I could have snatched your kid. What's wrong with you? Is there something wrong with you where your coffee, your little Starbucks, more important than this beautiful child? Yeah, we women also need to call out shit when we see something wrong. We need to embarrass them. They need to get a swift kick into consciousness. It's not comfortable calling people out, but it's necessary. It's the village. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise consciousness. It does. It doesn't grow itself, my friends. So when you see something insane, you call it out. Go, seriously? The kid was around the block. Where in the fuck were you? This is exactly how I spoke to her. I didn't give a shit. Was it rude? You damn right. She deserved it. Because she needed to know that you don't do that. This is precious cargo. This is our future. It's better to do that, okay, than to say nothing, okay? And maybe that kid at the age of 3 or 4 is taken by a mother, a weirdo, a man, another weirdo, and that child is never to be seen again. It might actually save the kid's life. Another weirdo, and that child is never to be seen again. It might actually save the kid's life in making ourselves uncomfortable and making someone uncomfortable for a moment in time. Probably be more polite than me, but I was fucking furious because you see, I had at the time, I had a 5-year-old safely at home with his father. Okay? And I can't tell you how there's no way in hell my kid would be out of my sight. There's no way. One day I'll tell you a story where I thought he was out of my sight, and I fucking almost lost my shit. I was like, but it only happened once, and he was never out of my sight. I'll tell you the story. It was crazy. I was in the garden. I turned around. We had a Mustang, a 1968 Mustang, beautiful car. And I didn't know he had stepped into the car because my back turned for 1 fucking second. You know how they are, these little 4 or 5-year-olds. 1 second. Well, he was so short that he couldn't reach the wheel. So I didn't see him in the car when I turned around. All I saw was a white van literally speeding off, and I fucking started running, calling to my husband, and we were running after the van. And our neighbor said, no, he's in the car. That was the only time he's in the car, because we thought somebody had grabbed him. But we were like helicopter parents, okay, to make sure our son was safe. And I better that than the other. Better that than letting your kid get hurt. So if you see someone who's not doing right by their kid, say something. Say something. You will probably save that kid's life. It might actually shame the parents so that they get serious. But again, when I think about the bear in the woods, and I think about my husband who saw a girl being beaten up by her boyfriend, and how he got out of his Porsche with a baseball bat, and the guy backed off, and he drove that girl to her house, to her parents' house. My husband, a man, 6'2", a man. Okay, I could tell you stories after stories of men who have helped women to safety. Men are not a liability. Toxic people are a liability. Weak people, cowardly people are allowed to be liability. Jealous, greedy people are a liability. The 1% is our liability. All right? That's what we need to focus on. Okay? We need to do that before we lose the opportunity to gain power. Any comments at all? Any comments at all? Do you have any thoughts on that? On this whole dialogue of the man and the bear? Because I'm definitely going to upload that because I really want it to stop. Really, really want it to... I mean, I just can't. I can't continue allowing these dialogues to denigrate and to separate us from men. It's not good. Any questions or comments? Okay. Well, I want to thank you for your time. I will upload this, share it, have some dialogues with your women friends. Have some real dialogues, uncomfortable dialogues. Because if you've never had a man actually save you from a situation, right? I don't know what to tell you, man. Because I know I've been saved by men. I've been brutalized by men. I've been saved by men. I've been fucked over by women. I've been saved by women. Hell, I saved myself. I've been the woman who saved others. So, what are we going to do? Are we going to keep allowing this divide and conquer agenda? Are we going to just, where it's reinvented again and again and again? Or are we going to let it go? I mean, when you think about Oprah, the big Oprah, with, what was the guy's name? John of God. That was a woman. Oh, I mean, the last time I checked, Oprah was a woman. How could she not have known about Harvey Weinstein? How could she not have known about John of God? I don't know. So let's be careful with that shit. Let's rethink and reconfigure this very negative slant, this very biased slant, and let's pull out all of our beautiful men and ask them to co-create with us a safe world. And yes, there are some people who will not be allowed in our safe world. Toxic people of both genders will not be allowed. It's that simple. I don't know about you, but I don't want to have mean girls around anyone. Hey, Letty, that's good. So, she knew. Of course she knew. She absolutely knew. And who was the other chick that was with, what's his name? Oh, fuck. What was the guy? Epstein's Island. What was that chick? It was a chick. She was a side chick. She didn't she bring all the chicks to him? Right? Wasn't she kind of his pimp? If you don't mind me saying it that way, because I can't think of another way to put it. She was doing it with all these young underage, all these girls. It wasn't a man. It was a woman. It's classic, by the way. Did you know that? They always use women as lures and children as lures. Always. Okay, very rarely is it not done that way. On that high level, where they do it quite often, where it's a damn near business. So Oprah knew, and the fact that she still talked about and respected on any level. See, I mean, Oprah and The Rock. Oh, we just won $10 million. $10 million, dude. $10 million for them is like I'd say $1,000 for you and me. Probably fucking even less than that for us. Maybe $100 bill. $10 million for Maui. When you and I both know they could have done all kinds of shit in 1 week with the amount of money she has, all kinds of shit overnight. These people lost their house and were not allowed to even camp on their own land. They were actually thrown out of their own land. I don't know if you know that. Oprah could have done something. She could have said, "Listen, I'm just going to pay the taxes and the mortgage. I've got a few billion. How much? What's the tab? Oh, 100 million? I got you." That's real shit. Her schools in Africa are under investigation. Wink, wink. Yeah, a woman. We all loved her. I never did, actually. I thought she was an asshole. You know when I knew she was an asshole? When she says, money doesn't bring you happiness. Nothing changes. Your problems are still there. No, bitch, my electric bill is paid. My kid is sick. I can afford the best medical care. Oh, I can actually feed my kid. How's that for an idea? Yeah, money brings fucking stability and choices. So the minute she said money, and she constantly pushed that agenda that poverty was better, that it was fine to be poor, fine to struggle, fine to get your electric bill cut off, fine not to, it's okay not to afford your heat. Yeah, when I heard this woman say that, I knew she was full of shit, and that was 20 years ago. I didn't like Maya Angelou either. Maya Angelou used to be a madam in San Francisco, something no one talks about. She was a madam. Nothing wrong with that if you talk about it. It's all wrong if you keep it under the shadows like you're some great poet laureate. I don't like hypocrisy in people at all. Whatever dark, shadowy past you have, it's all good. Be honest about it. So other people can go, wow, she was a madam running girls in San Francisco. I can do that too. I'm a pole dancer and one day I could run for Congress. Yeah, you could. You could. It's okay. You don't have to be ashamed of your past. We all have a past. Some more than others. We all have one. It's okay. But I don't like it when people walk in acting like, their shit doesn't stink. It's like crazy to me. So, these two women were on my shit list a long time ago. A long time ago. And when it all came out, and on a side note, we're all psychic, but I actually do that for a living. So psychically, I was picking up on Oprah being full of it, Maya Angelou being full of it. And guess what? Boom, there it comes. John, God of John. Weinstein, Epstein, holy crap, the fucking list of men she ran with. There's no way you wouldn't know. You and I both know that if we sat at the table with Weinstein, Epstein, John of God, you and I would have picked up on the energy and went, yeah, I don't like this dude. Like, I don't like him. Like, yeah, I don't think I'm, you know what? Yeah, dinner's done. I know some of you would have picked up on it within a half hour of physically meeting with these guys, any one of them, half hour. So she knew. She definitely knew. Harpo, Oprah, the fact is, the fact that she's still moving freely without having eggs and shit thrown at it, not that, whatever. It's weird. Anyway, before I go off track, let's make sure that we don't let the, 2,000 kids are missing in Maui. That's right. That's right. I'm amazed how people still give a shit about those people in stupid Met Gala. Oh, they're so connected with the Illuminati, it's ridiculous. Yeah, they're all on there. There's massive levels of payroll and a caste system. It's a caste system, right? Because if you think you know the face of the person who's the richest, most powerful person, we'll never see their face ever. We will never know their name. It's certainly not just Jeff Bezos. It's certainly not what's his name, Elon. It's not Elon. Because Elon was going to give internet to Gaza, and then he got talked to like he was a puppy. And he got kicked in the you-know-what, and came back, and he's been... then he decided to F off with the Disney. Like, that was a rebellious move on his part. Yeah, right. A rebellious move would have to continue giving anyone that needed the internet. But, So all of them are on the payroll. All of them are on an echelon, on a caste system. It's definitely a caste system. And the ones that really can make moves, who are the big players, who really, again, they always talk about the five families. And the five families on the names they give us, I don't believe those are the five families, to be honest. I think those are just covers. And that's not conspiracy bullshit. That's just common sense. Follow the money. And see, we keep following the money, and there's never an end. It's like we're not looking for the fucking source of the Nile here, right? It's literally we don't find the source because it's set up that way. So yeah, I'm so tired of these people playing in our face. Absolutely. And all we need to do is not to consent. You just stop consenting. What that means is energetically, you're not troubled by their bullshit. You don't eat their bullshit. You don't give a fuck about the gala, the Oscars on TV, Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah, take that up your wazoo. I'm not watching your shit. We need to turn our backs on anything connected to celebrities, to whatever. Somebody actually was showing the gala and putting that it looks like Hunger Games. And they were wearing the same insane costumes like Hunger Games. Same outrageous costumes, outrageous blonde platinum hair, outrageous headdresses, outrageous shit hanging on their bodies like it's crystals and chandeliers on dress. It was fucking actually corrupted, and it was sickening to watch. And I only watched it for like, I don't know, less than a minute. So we need to shame. I'm sorry, time. See, if you're going to shame someone out of not watching. Say, what, you're really watching the Super Bowl? You're really watching the Oscars? Really? You don't have something better to do? Are you going to keep catering to these quote unquote celebrities? Do you realize that most of the people I follow, they're not famous? In fact, I'm sick of watching their movies. There's certain things I will not watch anymore because I'm so disgusted by these people's personal life choices. That is all bent on greed. I'm not interested in celebrities. The most important and interesting people. There's a particular guy I follow who is a cowboy. He's been a cowboy for like 10. He's not a cowboy working, meaning he's got 3 horses, 2 pack horses, and he rides across America. You might have seen him. In the winter, he lives in his teepee. I'm more interested in him. He talks about wild lettuces and wild chaparral and wild this and wild that, which he eats right on the spot. He's a hunter. He's done deerskin pants. He brushes his beard and hair with I forgot what it is, a porcupine tail, which he found as a roadkill. What I'm trying to say to you is that's who I'm watching. I'm watching people who do the most amazing things that maybe 30 years ago I would have loved to try to attempt. And I'm following people who have the most amazing lives where they're not rich at all, and yet the wisdom that they have to show and share is so beautiful. People in Norway, people in the U.S., people in Africa, different lifestyles that are fascinating to me. Some of them starting entire businesses on one product. Like there's this chick, you've seen her, blonde hair, dreadlocks. She lives in Costa Rica selling magnesium spray. I bought one of her bottles. It fucking works. That's who I'm following. So it's interesting. I think we need to kind of shame because they're good to shame us. Oh, you're a starseed. Oh, you believe in twin flames. Oh, you believe in spirituality. They've shamed us for time to shame them. What, you're watching soap operas? You're watching that dumbass shit? Why don't you fill your mind with some real knowledge, some real wisdom? Instead of annihilating yourself within 2 6-packs of beer watching, Sunday Night Football. And getting excited and literally angry over the team losing. Like, wow, this is really upsetting me. Meanwhile, we have wars in different parts of the world. You're angry about a football game? A basketball game? Really? See, they've shamed us in the spiritual community for fucking decades. Time to shame them. And I say this not in a mean way, not to bully them. Don't get me wrong. It's to wake them fucking up. We need people to wake up. We don't have time for this bullshit. Really, dude? You're gonna lose your mind and bash someone in the head for a soccer game that was lost? Really? That's what we need to start doing. We need to roar like lions. We need to speak our truth and not be ashamed. Oh, it's not a conspiracy theory, what I've heard, it's this and that. No, somebody said that to me. I go, dude, I'm a conspiracy theorist. Bring it on. And by the way, the concept of conspiracy theorist, that term, I'm sure you guys, some of you know this, but some of you don't. It was actually created by the C alphabet group in the U.S. It was created in the late 1960s to shame people who were thinking and theorizing over shit to try to figure out what the fuck's going on here. Like, what's going on in our infrastructure, our political system, our social system, our religious systems. So what they did is they named it to shame it, so that people would be afraid to theorize as to what was happening, what was the solution, how do we get out of it individually and collectively. Yeah, conspiracy theorist, the master of that is David Icke. And damn near 90% of what he said was going to happen, all of that has come true, sadly. I wish he was wrong. I wish he was I wish he was a tinfoil hatter, but he's not, sadly. He was right. So, Something to think about. Something to think about. And the fact that children are still missing in Maui is, and I love the theory that children's bones just, brittleize. Okay, so how come we get to see Pompeii and the kids and their skeletal structure is still found in Pompeii 2,000 fucking years ago, but we can't find the remains because they pulverize? The logical fucking shit that these reporters on CNN and all the alphabet channels, they're with a straight face reading this shit. A real reporter like Peter Jennings would have said, yeah, I'm not reading this shit. Give me something real, because I'm not reading this shit. Peter Jennings, one of the last great reporters. He was I think he was for ABC, but he was stationed in London. Last great reporter. Died too young, in my opinion. So we have a reporter that just talked about, what was the little girl that was in the Red Crescent ambulance trying to get saved, and called a 6-year-old a woman. A woman had died. It's time we wrote letters, we called them, harassed them like they've harassed us for thousands of years. I hope you know that. But in the last 50 years, they have harassed us with the title of conspiracy theorists. But for the last 2,000 years, they've harassed us for being healers, green and white witches, midwives, herbalists, druids, high priests, high priestesses. Some of us who were actually a believer of Yeshua and Mary Magdalena, the Knights Templars, protecting the true knowledge and hunting us down like dogs again and again and again. It's time for us to turn the fucking tables. Anyway, I will upload this to my YouTube. All will be revealed. Sweetie Pie, all has been revealed. Now it's time for us to energetically shift that shit into and magnetize it and transmute it and create the new earth by not fighting physically. That's not the goal. It's where we failed in Atlantis. The goal is to escort planet Earth into 5D. The goal is to energetically manifest the new earth. That's the goal. That's the egregore we need to create as a unit. All of us. Not the divide and conquer of the bear and the fucking woods. I don't give a fuck about a bear. I have bears right up in my mountain. I have men here. I have women here. I don't trust the men or the women, but I trust anything that is from nature. And there's this concept that has been working us to the ground with making people distrust other races, other religions. It's worked very, very well. They've been very, very successful. And now they're doing the gender bashing and hating. Meanwhile, our men are taking their lives because they can't speak their pain. Because women raised them not to speak their pain. I'm sorry. I'm a mother of a son. I know how I raised my son. Okay? And there's certain things I shouldn't have done. There's certain things I'm glad I did. But there's certain things of stoicism that is not appropriate. We're not at war. We don't need to be stoic. Our men and women only need to be stoic when we are in massive, dire straits. This is not it. So we need to be emotionally available to each other. We need to speak our truth. We need to take the tears of grown men. We need to accept the tears of grown women and children. We need to embrace emotions, big emotions, explosive emotions, and allow it to run through their bodies so that it's purged out of them. And as for toxic people, I've repeated myself again and again. They come in both genders. Both genders. Okay? One day I will tell you the story of how I almost lost my life in a hospital in Switzerland. It was a religious order run by nuns. Nuns, women, aka, and they did not want me to survive. I'll tell you that story one day. This story was so shocking to my parents that they would repeat it again and again. I never knew why they would keep telling that fucking story because it was so negative. Then I finally realized they were trying to make sense of it. They couldn't fucking wrap their head around nuns, women trying to harm a baby. Couldn't wrap their head around that one. I love good people, but I do not love people who hate genders, who point their fingers against any gender. If I came across a woman in the woods, I wouldn't just run up to her. I'd fucking size her ass up as well. I'd wonder, why is she alone? I'd wonder, what's her agenda? I'd wonder all these things, and I would not trust her any more than I would trust a man. In other words, I don't care about the gender. I don't care what's between, you know what. What I care about is, who are you? Gender non-specific. All right, my loves. I will upload this. Sending you much love on your journey. Namaste.